Oh, hey, buddy, it's your old pal Scott, and this is Let's Talk Tabletop. This episode, I wanted to explain to you the very easiest way to change up your games and make them fresh again if you play too often or you're sick of the missions or whatever. And it's by changing the deployment zones. Now, that doesn't sound intuitive, right? But you don't need a game design degree to implement this whatsoever. I'm going to show you 3 different ways that you can change up your deployment methods, and it greatly affects your games. So let's dive in. Lately, one of my favorite things to do, instead of changing the mission and changing the objectives and changing how you score points or whatever, which is stuff I usually do for my missions, one of my favorite things to do now is just change up the deployment zone. Now, people that play at Warhammer for the narratives will find that I often do change up the deployment zones, and it makes it very strange and very unique. Well, this is what I'm going to show you how to do today. So the first one is what I call the snake method. I just put this tape down to mark the center of the board. You would not obviously normally have tape down here. You would just measure the 2 feet to the center of the board. But this is your entire territory, similar to how Age of Sigmar says, oh, you've got a territory, blah, blah, blah. But this actually is potentially your deployment as well. Obviously, there's no terrain or objectives here because that would change with however you want to set it up narratively and whichever mission you're using or whatever. I'm just showing this so that it's very clear and concise. So how it goes is you guys roll off or decide whoever's going to deploy first. Let me go ahead and deploy first with my Terrorgeist. Okay. You deploy your Terrorgeist anywhere in your half. Okay. Let's do this right here. Make a bold statement. Now, I get to deploy somebody. I can deploy them anywhere, any unit, anywhere on this half of the board. I just can't be within 18 inches of you. So, right here, I'm going to put my, let's use my custom Dragon Ogre Gargant. He's going to be right there. Or I could swing it all the way around. Let me try to push my line a little farther. I'm going to put him right there. So he can't be within 18 inches of any enemy models, period. Okay? So now it's the Flesh Eater Quartz. Let's do some of my Crypt Flares. Okay? 3 Crypt Flares. Alright, so they can be anywhere, not within 18 of my model. I don't know why that was so hard, but to measure 18 inches. But there you go. And now they can be there. Okay? And then I'll do one more unit just to show you how it goes. If I wanted to be 18 inches from here with one of my, let's pick the Gorgon, because it's just a big, easy model to choose. I could be here, right? I could be here. And usually you do want to force them, because now this is now your deployment line over here for the Flesh Eater Quartz. You can't go past this line because of him. Well, now, because I chose to put them over there and I did nothing close to this line, I could put him. It's more difficult than it needs to be. All right, I could put him 18 inches here, and now you can't be. Look, I'm really cutting off your deployment zone now. Now, as described, you can get some crazy results with that deployment, but another one I really like to do, and this actually helps support a narrative, because by the time that you randomly deploy in this second method, it will change exactly how you feel the narrative is probably going. If one of the units are far out, then that's probably like either a Vanguard unit, or maybe they're the retreating units, and they're the last one there, and the enemies can pounce on them, or whatever. So this is what I call the D6 method. Alright, so I'm not putting any terrain on the board whatsoever. I'm not even doing any objectives, because obviously that would change per mission, right? So what I've done is I've just marked these off visually so you can see it. Normally you would measure, 2 feet by 1 foot, 2 feet by 1 foot, and you would number them 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Your opponent, or I guess you being the viewer, would be this side, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So, I'm going to be deploying my Beastmen versus my Flesh Eater Quartz. So, Let's see. I'm going to pick a unit. Let's do my Gorgon first. He goes to 6. So now I have to place him somewhere in this space. He's an aggressive unit, obviously. I'll put him right here in this space. Let's go ahead and do our zombie dragon. It gets a 5. So the zombie dragon is going to be over here. And I guess I'll put him right here. But he's got to be in that square. Now, let's do my a unit of 3 Bulgors. A 3. So my 3 Bulgors have to be over here. I can put them anywhere in this square. And now let's do the Flesh Eater Quartz. Let's go ahead and do my leader. He's a 3. So I'm going to grab my leader, and he's got to go in this 3 space right here. Now, obviously, I don't want him out alone. So I will probably put him back here to have some support. And that's basically the way you do it. Obviously, you'll place your objectives as normal, as per whatever the deployment says for your mission that you're playing. Let's do one more just for the sake of it. I'll do my custom Dragon Ogre Gargant that I have. This guy, he's almost finished painted. And he would be in 5, so he would be right here. I think the Bulgors could take a little bit of support here. Now, this third method is similar to the first one, but it's a little bit crazier. And this also has kind of a baked-in narrative with it just because of the deployment method. Alright, you'll see there is no tape on this board whatsoever. And the reason why is there's no deployment zones. This is probably the craziest method. So, somebody decides to be the defender. Roll off, do whatever you want. They have to deploy the first unit first. So, I can deploy this Gorgon literally anywhere on the board I want. I'm going to put him right here. Now, we're following the same rules as the snake method, where nobody can be placed, no enemies can be placed within 18 inches of my units. Let's speed this up a little bit. Put down a Terrorgeist and a Gargant and some Crypt Flares and then some Bulgors and then a character. So now you see you're staking claim on the board. I can't deploy anywhere back here with my Beasts of Chaos. I can't deploy anywhere within 18 inches of this Terrorgeist. Now the Beasts of Chaos are seriously getting squished. You could deploy, on the other hand, over here, and you probably would want to. And the reason why is that you want to claim some of this board. 18 inches, let me put them right here. And now I'm at least blocking the Flesh Eater Quartz off. They have to deploy over here, or they have to deploy in that corner. But you see how the whole board is your playground here, and you can use objectives if you want, you can use no objectives, you can do kill, whatever. But this makes a super, super challenging way to play. By changing this, you'll be shocked at how many mistakes you make, which actually makes it extremely narrative. And the reason why is because, like in real life, generals don't have perfect information. They're going to make mistakes. They're going to not anticipate some of the decisions they've made or the outcomes of those decisions. They're going to be surprised by different outcomes. They are going to put units accidentally in bad positions, which they didn't realize was a bad position until the enemy showed up. So please let me know what you think about this, and I would love to hear from you. And you can reach me at letstalktabletopscott@gmail.com if you have any questions, comments, whatever. But you know a perfect place for comments? It's in the comment section of this video down there, in case you're unfamiliar with YouTube for some reason. In case you just crawled out of some sort of cave like Cro-Magnon and you're like, ooga booga, want to look up new deployment ways for Warhammer. Well, here you go.